Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Monday night guided meditation from the Buddhist Society of Victoria. We're very glad you could join us wherever you are and whenever you are in the world. Just a reminder, as it says in the live chat there, you have the option of joining Ajahn Sadaro this evening in Zoom. The links to, or the Zoom room details are in the live chat there. They've been pinned to the top of the chat. So we have a number of people who've joined Ajahn there. If you would like to come in, you can certainly do that and turn your camera on. Ajahn will be able to see you and interact with you later in the Q&A session if you would like that. Otherwise, you're welcome to stay on YouTube. Just a reminder that after the guided meditation, there will be a question and answer session, which you can participate in if you want, either through the YouTube live chat or through Zoom, where you'll be able to talk with Ajahn Sadaro in person. There are no other particular announcements for this evening, so I will pass over to Ajahn to take tonight's guided meditation. Thank you, Ajahn.
Thanks, Langdon. It's a very nice and very smooth introduction to everything that needs to be done. Where everything seems to be working well tonight, so I'm quite fortunate that I just get to sit here and speak into a microphone, and the technical team is working behind the scenes to do so many things to enable you to gather together and listen to the some sort of teachings tonight and do the guided meditation. So that's very good. So maybe without further ado, it seems like we have most people here now. So again, if you have any questions, you're more than welcome to type them into the chat anytime that you like, or jump on the Zoom and you can actually ask me the questions after the session. Just for anybody that maybe new tonight, we sit for about anywhere between 45 to 50 minutes, depending on my level of mindfulness and time, how much I watch the time. We usually sit for about 45 minutes to anywhere up to an hour, and then I give a short question and answers to questions after that. If you maybe find the time a little bit long, that's okay. Don't worry. Just try to be patient with it. Sometimes the mind will wander off during the course of 40 minutes to an hour. It's just natural that it will wander off you. Natural that you might feel a little bit bored, but just bear with it, kind of thing. It's a one thing about meditation. It is a training. It's something that we have to try to improve on a little bit every time that we do it. So, but yeah, if you do find that it's a little bit long, it's fine. You can just sort of have a bit of a relaxed kind of thing. So yeah, so without further ado, we might actually start the meditation then. So find yourself a comfortable position, whether it's on the floor, or on a chair, or on a couch somewhere. And again, it doesn't really matter the actual posture that you're in. All that really matters is that you try to keep the back nice and straight. And before you start, just make the determination and make the strong intention that for these next few minutes, this is a precious time for you. And thoughts about the past or the future or plans that you may need to do this evening or tomorrow, and just put those down for now. This is the time to really try to work on ourselves and work on the quality of our mind. This is the most important thing we can do, and this will be the thing that determines how happy we are and contented we are in life. So Just allow yourself this time just to work on improving the quality of the mind. Any devices that you don't need, and just put them away or turn the notifications off. And now just bring your awareness to the feeling of your body sitting here. The weight of your body against the chair. The different sensations that are coursing throughout the body. The feeling of your hands touching together. Just try to anchor yourself in exactly what it is that you're doing now, which is simply sitting, simply experiencing, noticing the sensations just the way they are. You can also be aware of any sounds that might be in the room or the sound of my voice. Just spend the next few moments anchoring yourself in your present experience, whatever it is. Try not to label it as either good or bad. Just seeing your experience for what it is. notice the constant and changing hum of everything that you experience. The sensations coursing through the body, vibrating, in a flow, in an ebb. All the small adjustments that your body makes as it settles in, the slight movements. And this buzz of the world outside, the different sounds in the room, the temperature in the room that's impinging on you. Try to continue to notice this constant, ever-changing, impermanent movement of experience. And just sit back and observe it. You don't have to go out towards it. Just sit back and observe, just like you're sitting on the shore of the beach and you're watching the waves roll in and out and the clouds move across the sky. Just stay in this place of stillness and observe this ever-changing flow and movement. Now start to notice the movement of the breath. How it moves throughout your body. And with each in-breath and out-breath, your body shifts and moves and expands and contracts. Your abdomen, your chest, your back, your shoulders, even your face. You can feel your arms move with the movement of the breath. Try to keep your awareness very broad throughout the whole sphere of the body and notice how the breath moves throughout it. Again, you don't have to focus down on it, but just remain open and aware, and just watch the experience and allow the breath to follow its natural course and the body to move in accordance with that. Just merely watch this process. Just like when you're scanning your body and observing the sensations, if you move your awareness from the top of your head down through the different body parts, and you notice the different sensations there, try to do this, but instead of just noticing the overt physical sensations, try to pinpoint different areas in your body and see if you can feel the breath in those areas. Some places it might be easier to do this. Other places may require you to focus more and pay closer attention. But see if you can systematically move your attention throughout the body and notice the breath at different points, from the top of your head down to the bottom of your feet and back up again. last few minutes of the meditation, just try to bring to mind some sort of issue or problem that you may have had in the not too distant past. It doesn't have to be a huge, life-altering issue. You may have had a small disagreement with someone, or a challenge trying to finish something off. But just try to think back to a problem that you may have encountered that did pose some difficulty for you. And now try to think of someone who came and helped you with that difficulty. Maybe they helped you with a task, or was just simply there to listen to you as you aired your grievances. Might have been a friend, might have been a family member, or could have even been a stranger. But somebody that helped you in some way. Somebody that gave up their time, gave up their energy to help you, to help get you through a difficulty. Try to bring this person to mind and the kindness and the goodness that they showed towards you, and how much they actually did help you. Try to recollect how much more difficult it would have been without them there. And see if you can really bring up and blossom this feeling of gratitude towards this person. This person that gave something of their life just to help you, be it time or energy. But they did it to see you through some kind of difficulty. In your mind, you can say a deep thank you to this person, even though sometimes we can't express this so well in words. In our mind, we can express our thanks to them. Try to also bring up a feeling of reciprocity and wanting to pay them back for their kindness. This unselfish concern and care for also their welfare. And try to make the determination that if you get the chance to repay them, you'll gladly do it. Because of the gratitude that you feel for them helping you in this big or small way. Now try to bring to mind somebody that has been very important and instrumental in your life. Might be a parent, might be a partner, might be a child, might be a good friend. But somebody that's been very formative in your life and that has been there through many different ups and downs you may have had in your life. And try to think of a time when this important person in your life, when they helped you in some way. Could have been something big. They may have nursed you through some sickness, or been there when you went through a tragedy. Or was simply there every day to brighten your spirits. Try to think of all the good that this person has brought into your life. And that even though there also may have been some difficulties with this person, we can just put those aside for the time being and really recollect some of the good things. Bring to mind those specific instances where they did give up so much of themselves to help you. And let this feeling of gratitude swell up from within. Think how fortunate you are that you have this person in your life. Think of the difficulties you would have had without them. Just think that you wouldn't be the person that you are without them. Try to feel this deep sense of gratitude for this goodness that they've brought into your life. This help, this assistance, this love, this care that this person has given to you. And again, in your mind, you can express your gratitude by saying a deep thank you to them. Express how much you care for them or you love them. Express to them how lucky you are that you have them in your life. And again, try to bring up this feeling of reciprocity as well. And make the determination that if in some way that you can help them and care for them and repay this debt of gratitude that you have to them, that you'll take the first opportunity to do that. And finally, try to bring to mind something more abstract, like a difficult situation that you went through, a difficult period in your life, a difficult challenge. It may have been a sickness or an ending of a relationship or something that brought you some kind of great suffering. But make it something that you've gone through and that's over now. And as you think of this challenging situation that you had, try to think of some aspect of it that you grew from, that you learned from, that changed you into a better person. Think of some part of this difficult situation that made you more resilient. That made you stronger in some way. That enabled you to appreciate something more about life. And just like the person that helped you, or this loved one that you had, just try to feel grateful to these aspects of this situation or problem that you had that helped you in some way to grow into the person you are now. Try to have this feeling of gratitude towards this situation that taught you something about the truth of dukkha. Even though it was difficult, try to feel this gratitude. And you had this opportunity to pass through it and to grow and to learn and to understand from it. And again, make the determination, bring up this feeling of reciprocity. That if you see anybody else in this situation, that in some way you'll do everything that you can to help them. And again, in your mind and in your heart, just say, thank you. Thank you for having this experience. Thank you for teaching me.
Thank you very much, Ajahn, for that guided meditation and gratitude practice as well. At the end, like a bonus. We have people joining us on YouTube and also in the Zoom session. If you are in Zoom, we invite you to turn your camera on so Ajahn can see you there, that you've joined him for tonight's session. Thank you for those of you who have joined us on Zoom. It's great to see you there. We don't have any questions on YouTube at this point. If you do have one and you would like to ask Ajahn a question about tonight's practice or about some other aspect of the practice, you can type your question into the live chat. If you are in Zoom, you're welcome to click on the raise hand button and ask a question. Though if you're all feeling very peaceful, we can also just sit quietly and enjoy the stillness of our minds.
I usually end the meditation off with something very calming and peaceful kind of thing. I should start ending the meditation off with more active thinking kind of thing to get people thinking, oh, okay, that's a question I can ask.
Remind them of the problems in their lives and have lots of questions all of a sudden. While we're waiting for any questions, Ajahn, could I invite you just to talk a little bit about at the end you asked us to think of different people in our lives and express gratitude or feel gratitude towards them, but you also took it further and invited us to think about gratitude for a situation or just events in our lives, which is not something that I think we often do. Express gratitude towards something that's not a person. That's something that could be useful as well. Well, because you think of many of the things in your life that have provided you with some of the most I would just say paradigm shifting experiences and these kinds of things that
that really have sort of shaped your life, and they could be, problematic or anything like that. And these are the things that have really shaped you into the person that you are now. And, you see, say for example, people that have gone through some kind of serious sickness or something like that. Many of them say this was the most difficult experience of my life, but it was also the most greatest experience of my life as well, because it offered me this kind of teaching and this way of understanding something a little bit more deeper about life. So I think it is good to sort of remind yourself to be grateful for some of those more abstract kind of situations that, while they do seem difficult, actually do offer you the greatest gift. And that greatest gift is actually showing you dukkha as well, showing you the First Noble Truth. When things are, peaceful and great and happy and, everything's working out well, it's like you don't really get the chance to actually consider dukkha, or even to know dukkha. It might be something that's in the back of your mind and you think, oh yeah, dukkha's there, dukkha's the First Noble Truth. But when you actually do come in contact with it, that's when you start to really understand it a lot more. And so that's something to be very, very, for me, I really think that's something to be very, very grateful for, that, you really do have access to the First Noble Truth. And that's something that you should be very, very grateful for. If not, you probably wouldn't be, practicing these teachings. So yeah, I think it's we can have gratitude for many different things. We can have gratitude for people, but we can have gratitude for difficult situations that we've had. We can have gratitude for, also the, opportunity that we might have had as well. Some kind of, some just twist of fate or karma just has come along, and all of a sudden you've been given this great opportunity. You can just feel grateful for that opportunity as well, or some random book that you picked up and it taught you something awesome, and you think, you can be grateful for these more abstract things as well. And I think if you can do that, that's when you start to see more things in life that you can be grateful for. If you just keep it to people all the time, it's like, okay, I'm grateful to my mom, and I'm grateful to my, grateful to my dad and my family and these friends, but you run out of those after a while. Like you see them all and they start to annoy you again, and it's like, I'm not grateful for them anymore. So if you can think a little bit more broadly to a lot of the situations as well, I find that helps a lot.
Thank you, Ajahn. And that has given time for a couple of questions to come from the YouTube audience. Yep. I can't see any hands up in Zoom at this point, so we'll go to those questions. The first one is, we react to the same situation in different ways at different times. Are there any tips to be able to react the right way more often?
That can be a hard one, because there's so many times where we build a habit and we continually react the wrong way to things as well. So an example of something like that, of like, I feel bored or something, so I'm gonna play with my phone or something. So we just continue to react in the wrong kind of ways. But obviously, there's times where you do act in the right kind of way, and maybe my guess from your question is, sometimes we act in the right way to a situation, and sometimes we act in the wrong way to a situation. So how do we make sure we react in the right way more often? That's just what I'm extrapolating from the question, and this is where having this faculty of sati comes in, of mindfulness comes in, but potentially, not mindfulness as we are more you're generally prone to think of it as mindfulness, of being mindful of the present moment or whatever it is. But mindfulness in the other kind of meaning of it, of having being able to recollect causes and conditions as well, being able to recollect different aspects of your life and things that actually happen. So we can see and we can remember something that happened at one time and you did respond in a better way. And so you're very aware of that whole process, and you can remember that process a lot better. And you can remember what was leading up to the point that made you respond in a better way. What were some of the antecedents to that situation that caused you to react a lot better to it? How did you, when you did actually respond to it better, how did you actually respond to it better? And what was it like afterwards? What was the benefit like afterwards? So if you have mindfulness in that term of recollecting, then this is a good way for us to think about the kinds of, you could say, like the wins that you've had in life, and then you can remember more of the processes that went into that. And then when you start to see the antecedents, the things that are leading up to it, you can see that you're approaching this kind of issue that you've had before. And so if you can see some of the triggers that are there, you can think, okay, well, that's how I started to respond before, when I acted well before. So an example of that, like, as I said, like with the phone, just say you generally you start to feel bored, you still feel restless, you feel a little bit agitated kind of thing, and then you just notice that kind of knee-jerk reaction of, oh, okay, let's play with the phone, let's pull it out kind of thing. But then maybe, and then you do that and you end up at like 2 o'clock in the morning, like scrolling through random YouTube videos or something, I don't know. But and yeah, that's the one that you want to get rid of. But you can also, maybe one time you've had a bit of mindfulness there, mindfulness again in this term of recollecting, and you can just sort of recollect a time when you had a win there. It's like, okay, well, so what led to me wanting to play with my phone? Okay, I felt bored, I felt restless, I felt agitated. And so the next time you feel bored, restless, agitated, you can know, okay, this is usually the trigger that causes me to grab my phone. Okay, let's just not follow that. So if you can see the things that are leading up to this actual event that you want to change, then you can be more mindful of them in terms of recollecting that, but then mindful of it again when it comes up again, and actually being mindful of the present situation of what you're going through. And then you can try to react in lines with what you did the first time, whether you actually things worked out well for you. So hopefully that answers the question and helps. Yeah.
Thank you, Ajahn. The next question is, what are skillful approaches to being at peace with loss of functioning due to aging and illness? Thank you.
Sorry, can you repeat that again?
Yeah, sure. The question is, what are skillful approaches to being at peace with loss of functioning due to aging and illness?
Yeah. The big one is acceptance. Being at peace with something that takes time. I think to be really actually at peace with anything, you have to have accepted something for a long time until you get to that point where you are actually at peace with it. This kind of if you're just trying to intellectualize it, of going, okay, my body's getting older and I'm not functioning as well anymore, and you're trying to sort of intellectualize it, like that's the first thing that you need to do. But then there's this aspect of it where you just have to, when you do that more, you intellectualize it a little bit more, and then you do start to accept it a little bit more. And the more that you accept it, the more easy that process becomes. But the actual peace that may come about through it, that will take time. That will take a lot of acceptance. So I think it's something that you have to really just have a lot of patience with as well. To get to the point of peace, you do need a fair bit of patience. And also, maybe an alternate way to do that as well is that, well, okay, something like, old age and these kinds of things that come along, and sickness that comes along. But there's other aspects of it that are much better as well, that you can recollect to sort of, maybe lift your mind up a little bit. I'm not so smart, but I feel like I'm getting a little bit wiser with age as well. I'm feeling like I'm a little bit more appreciative to different things in life. When I was younger, I did a lot of stupid things, and I did reckless things because I had too much strength and I had too much energy and I had too much of sort of everything, and it caused me to do dumb things. And so now that I'm a bit older and maybe my body's not as healthy, strong as it once was, I can't do all those things anymore. So I don't put myself in those silly situations. And I've learned something from that as well. I'm a little bit wiser. I'm a little bit more patient with these things. So there's that aspect as well, where you can be grateful for some of these things. Again, the body's getting older, it's changing, it's getting sicker, it's aching, it's cracking, it's doing all these things. It's teaching you about dukkha. It's teaching you about the first noble truth. So again, you can be grateful for your body, that it is actually getting old, and it's giving you like warning signals of you need to practice. You need to accept this. You need to this is something you need to face. So I think if you can you do that, where you're just patient with it, you try to sort of rationalize about it, and you accept it over a long period of time, that's what'll get you to peace. But then you can do those other things as well, where you try to actually be grateful for some of the good things about it as well.
There's one for us to ponder on, Ajahn. Thank you. The last question tonight, it's in two parts. I'll just read them both out. Thanks for guiding me to reflect upon the past in a positive way. How can I apply this gratitude to building up trust around me? I mean, we were taught not to talk to strangers.
Yep.
While I can realise so much assistance I have received from people around me, including these strangers. So how do I think, is that clear, Ajahn? You'd like me to read it again?
Yeah, can you just read it again?
Yeah, so in all,
I think I've got it, but yeah.
How can I, thank you for guiding me to reflect upon the past in a positive way. Yep. How can I apply this gratitude to building up trust around me? We were taught not to talk to strangers, but I can remember so many instances, so much assistance I've received from people around me, including strangers.
Yeah, there's something about it where you do have to take a bit of a risk, and you do have to open yourself up in some ways. Not all things that you open yourself up to will be good. Not every stranger that you talk to will be nice. Not every stranger you talk to will be helpful. But what you'll find is most of the time, the greater majority of people actually do have goodwill and good intention for you. So a lot of it is about sort of opening up and sort of facing your fear around that. You're facing that fear of, I don't want to open up and let people help because I'm worried that they'll hurt me. That's a huge barrier of resistance that actually causes a lot of suffering for ourselves, and we miss out a lot in life because we do that. So if we can start to notice when we are having that resistance come up of, not wanting to let anybody in, not wanting to let anybody help, not wanting to let our guard down because we think we'll get hurt. If you can notice that happening, you can try to sometimes you actually actively have to push against it and actively have to go, okay, no, I'll let this person help me, or I'll open myself up for somebody to actually help me. And that's not going to work all the time. It's, you're going to try to do it, you're going to try to open up, and, sometimes you're sort of going to, okay, nobody's going to be there, nobody's going to help. You're going to open yourself up for somebody to try to help you, and they're not going to be so nice to you. But what you will likely find, though, is people will be kind to you and help you more often than not. There might be a small percent of the time where it doesn't work out, but the greater majority of the time it does. And I think it's because we're sort of afraid that we miss out on this greater majority of the time, and we just think back to the times where we did get hurt by someone because we opened up to them. Those instances where we did get hurt by someone, that sort of like sticks with us. But those small kindnesses that people show to you, that you do forget that a lot. So if you can actually open yourself up, you get more information about people being kind and generous and helpful to you. So as I said, the thing you have to try to do is just notice if you're having that resistance, you're having that fear there of wanting to open up and let anybody help you. Try to push back against that a little bit. Just talk to somebody like in the street. I do it all the time. I just, I go for walks around here and everybody's got masks on, and it's weirder now, everybody's got masks on, but I try to just walk past and say hello to people, everyone. And you get a lot of strange looks. They sort of, grumpily look at you, or yank their dog away from you, or yank their children away from you, or whatever. But that's only like, 2 people out of 20. The other 18 people are really, really nice. So just, you can try that. You just walk down the street. Hey, how are you? Hey, how are you? It's harder in a busy place, but you can do it. And these are some of the small things that you can start to do. You walk into a shop, say something nice to the baker or whoever it is. Just do these small things. And these are the small incremental practice things that you do, that when you do face something a little bit more challenging, it becomes a lot easier for you because you've practiced these things. So talk to the guy, pat their dog, do all those things. That's a good thing to do.
Right. Thank you so much, Ajahn. That was the last question. We just have a few comments just to relay that the person who asked about aging and illness and loss of functioning has replied, thank you for this online meditation and Dhamma teaching. These online opportunities are making a difference here. Yes, loss of functioning has increased mindfulness.
Yeah, I'm losing a lot of functioning as well. You have to move slow and mindfully now. It's increasing your mindfulness as well. So a good point.
Yeah, and thank you for answering our questions. We are blessed to have you as our teacher. Many thanks. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
Very good. Okay, all the best to everybody. Again, we have the teaching on Sunday morning at 9 o'clock, Melbourne. What's that? Is still Australian Eastern Daylight Time? Yeah, Australian Eastern Daylight Time. So I have a teaching next Sunday morning and another meditation session next Monday. So with that, I wish you all the best in your practice and all the best in your life, and hopefully things will be going well for you for the rest of the week. Okay, have a good week. Well done.